In this video, I'm going to be looking at the Adipower 3 lifting shoes. I want to know how they perform, what's their stability like, especially compared to other shoes in this area, and overall, are they worth their price tag? Stay where you are. You may already have a pair of lifting shoes and are considering upgrading, or you may have never used a pair of lifting shoes before in your life. I've used these for a while now, long enough to report back and tell you my thoughts as to whether these are overall a good pick, and also who they would work best for. I have to disclose as well, no third party has approached me to do this review. This is my own honest opinion. The first thing I'll mention about the Adipower 3 is that the heel height, like the Adipower 1, is 22mm, which is slightly higher than the shoes I'm currently used to. So it felt like a bit of an adjustment, only by a few millimeters though, but it is enough to notice. The heel height does give me the feeling that my knees are going over my toes, but it didn't affect my lifting ability in any way. But it's just something that you should bear in mind depending on what shoes you're coming from. Now let's look at the materials. The Adipower 3 uses a very rigid fabric made of canvas and ripstop material. This material is really hard wearing and of course provides good security for your feet and toes. One thing that I liked is that they have a suede-like material and a very snug and rigid heel cup area, which gives the feeling of more heel stability and reduces any chance of heel movement. Now let's look at the comfort. You'll know from the first moment that you try these on that these have a very high quality sole and padding. They wrapped around my feet perfectly and gave me good stability, allowing me to focus more on my overall posture and my lifting. They do have a removable and replaceable insole that isn't very soft but feels like it has a good durability to it. This thing will keep its shape for a very long time. The insoles did make them feel a little bit harder to wear, so I wore slightly thicker socks, but this for me is not a deal breaker or a negative thing at all. The Adipower 3 also have surprisingly good arch support. It actually feels like I'm wearing orthotics in there. I do have a slight pronation in my feet, so I do tend to favor shoes that have a little bit more support in the arch area, as I don't want to feel off balance, and having more support in the arch area just enables me to plant my feet a lot better. Also for me, the tongue on this shoe doesn't move or shift while you're wearing them. It's not something that I think a lot of people consider important, but small things like this show me that they've really thought about how the foot is going to move when you wear a shoe like this. Another thing to note is that the Adipower 3 has quite a narrow build, especially around the toe area. I don't have wide feet myself, so they're okay for me, but I don't recommend them for people looking for a wide fitting shoe or who want space to really splay out their toes. They're just not the most roomy lifting shoe available. Now let's look at their appearance. The appearance is pretty sleek and simple. The Adipower 3 does come in other colors. At the time I bought mine, they only had 4 colors available: red, green, black and white. I actually went for black because the red was sold out. The Adipower 3 do look quite similar to the previous versions as expected. There's no real big differences in the design really. I do wish they had more adventurous colors available, but again, that's not really a big deal. Now, before I go into the stability of this shoe, I just wanted to say if this video has helped you make a decision, please hit that like button just so that more people can see this video and I can of course do more videos like this. Now, let's go on to stability. As I mentioned, the Adipower 3 does have quite a narrow build. Compared to other weightlifting shoes, the sole has less surface area. Comparing these to a shoe like say the Romaleos or even the Savaleos by Nike, the width of the sole will be very noticeable. I can also see why it may feel unstable for some people. I'll explain this a little bit later when I compare them to the Romaleo 4s. The rubber tread from the toe to the heel area is pretty much uniform. No slippage and very good grip on the gym surfaces. Pretty much any surfaces, as you would expect them to be. Overall, I'd say that the Adipower 3s have a solid stability performance. They didn't present any traction issues or discomfort. My feet felt comfortable throughout every workout and I did feel secure and confident when wearing them. Now let's look at the Adipower 3 versus the Nike Romaleos 4s. Let's begin with their similarities before we go into their differences. Both have good durability and fitting. Both provide fantastic support and structure, with some differences we'll go into in a minute. I would say that the Romaleo 4 remains my favourite. Their woven fabric just feels a little bit tougher in the upper. For me, the one area where the Romaleo 4s win is in stability. The Romaleos have a wider outsole, which I've found to be extremely helpful with stability and balance. They also offer a little bit more space in the toe box area, so you have that added comfort and more ability to properly splay your toes out, which you could call a personal preference, but I feel like splaying your toes out gives you just a little bit more of a feeling of control in your feet versus not being able to with the Adipower 3s. With that being said, neither the Romaleos or the Adipower 3s should be considered a wide fitting shoe. The Adipower 3 has less surface area on the outsole, which overall gives you less stability and support. They're also a little bit more expensive than the Romaleo 4s, if the current deals are still correct. If you don't mind the narrower build and you don't mind the higher price, go for the Adipower 3. Another thing worth considering is that the Romoleos have been out for longer, so the likelihood of finding a cheaper deal on them is going to be very high. You might want to check out some of the deals I found on the Romoleo 4s at the time of making this video. I'll put them in a link in the description for you to check out. My conclusion is that I think the Adipower 3s are a great shoe. They're very well put together, but the main difference comes when you compare them stability-wise with other shoes. There is quite a noticeable difference that might not be to everybody's liking. It's definitely a matter of personal preference. I personally still think the Romoleo 4s win on comfort, stability and fitting just by a little bit, but the Adipower 3 are still a good shoe. Are you going to go for the Adipower 3s? Drop a comment and let me know. So with that being said, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.